So, we have a question from M. Hunt. First off, I love these office hours. They're very informative. Thank you. Is there any news on Bitmap memory management? I know that I personally had some issues with developing picture-intensive apps and receiving out-of-memory exceptions. So yeah, I mean, very recently, about a week ago, we launched a new training course in developer.android.com/training on the best ways to deal with bitmaps, loading bitmaps, being efficient with bitmaps. So just going to developer.android.com/training is an excellent place to start. And another tip is to load bitmaps with the in-preferred config as RGB565 to reduce memory usage, but it may, of course, also reduce the quality. I shall post that in, where's my, this one here, that's right. Okay. So yeah, people are starting to ask questions in the thread as well, like why is this video not available from Germany? Yeah. I totally missed that, Al, the ruling that said that the Germans can't join the live ones.
Well, maybe if they block their IP, it might let them join.
I think it's one of those things that will probably be overturned in appeal in a week or two, but until then...
Yeah.
It's probably just for everybody to catch up on what it actually means.
Okay, so let's just answer. Okay. But still, anyone else who's watching on the either inside or on the live stream can ask questions in the thread, as I say. And +1 it would be good, so we can see if there's anybody watching out there. We do actually now have stats for the YouTube live, but I don't know how to get them right now. And I'll add them into the thread later on so we can see how many people are watching live on YouTube. Okay. It shows video not available. The link from Al Sutton leads to, sorry, you're unable to join this hangout.
I put a link to a post that talks about the specific law and that in the comment section, so hopefully anyone trying to join from Germany is going to be able to see that.
Ah, cheers, yeah. Oh, it's on air in Germany. I think the graphic in that post may have been doctored slightly.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the official message, right?
No, it's just what I could find that gave the reason. If I can find one with a little bit more official air to it, I might put that link across.
Yeah, hopefully it resolves itself shortly. Okay, let's just have a look at the next moderator then. What are the best practices to align Arabic and other right-to-left languages correctly on all versions of Android? Tricky question. Since Android didn't have well-developed right-to-left support before Ice Cream Sandwich, there isn't a proper way to do it in older versions. If you have to support older API levels, then your best bet is probably to implement a web page and show it in the browser or web view. There are other third-party solutions, but the web tag, RTL tag, should work in older versions of Android, whereas the official APIs, as Sparky says in here, only came in for Ice Cream Sandwich.
Well, I can suggest, because I mess with Hebrew also, maybe you can do with the text view, for example, align text right, and then it's, with the gravity, and that would put the text on the right.
Yes, it would put the text on the right, but it wouldn't be reversed.
Well, the only thing that is reversed, since I use Hebrew a lot, it would be only the numbers would get mixed up, but the text would be correct, if you see what I mean. Yeah.
I thought that you're supposed to read backwards as well.
No, only the numbers. The text works perfectly.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. Okay. The next question is from Yar Barak. I need to port code to Android that do a lot of real-time image processing. May I do it with the NDK, or can I get the same performance with regular Java? I'll be happy to find some resources about camera for NDK. Sparky says you can do it with the NDK, but before you do, I suggest you look at the samples for doing it with RenderScript. There's a link in the moderator. So, yeah, RenderScript does allow you to do processing, image processing, things like that on the GPU, just like the NDK would as well.
I would still suggest that you try and do what you're trying to do with Java first. I mean, that's the approach to go. And if it really is there is a bottleneck, then try to identify what that is and then see what the options are.
Yeah, RenderScript is, of course, Android 3 and above. If you use the NDK, you get access to earlier versions, or at least anything that's running an ARM7A chip or above.
One of the issues of using the NDK would be tying yourself into a particular chipset and any optimizations around that. And as we've seen, the first Intel Android phone already hit the market. If you wrote ARM code, you'd be kind of losing out on that. So if you can use RenderScript or Java, it is far better.
Yeah, so NDK gets you onto the gingerbread devices. RenderScript gets you onto the honeycombs and ice cream sandwiches. But one is for one set of chipsets, and one is all chipsets but higher versions of Android. So as Peter says, the best solution would be to do it in the Java layer if you can manage that. But of course, if you need the high performance, you have the other options. Yeah. I'm just going to post into the chat window here the window to the moderator in case people don't know what we're looking at.
Just put it in the post.
I'll put it in here.
Yes or no?
All right. I shall also paste it into the post that we're looking at here. Ow, cheeky. Thank you very much. I was just about to say. And looking at that comments list, we've had a couple of questions in there right now. Actually, we've had one. Will full backup of your Android phone to Google Drive be available in the future? I imagine so. Whether somebody writes it externally, third party, or whether we do it internally, it sounds like something that would be kind of awesome. Either for app data or for settings, everything like that. I mean, a lot of the things on your Android phone are already getting backed up into the cloud, onto the Google Play servers. And there's a lot of third-party apps which currently allow you to back up your phone SMSs, data, other things into storage mechanisms. So it would only require an API or drop from Android for one of those to be manipulated to work with Google Drive. Google Drive? Google Drive and Android. Okay. Yeah, I hope so, Marco. Very early days. We're one day into Google Drive at the moment, so let's just see what happens. We've only got two people in there. So,
well, I've got a question for you.
Oh, go for it.
I did a countdown timer, that you've got a number of minutes and it counts down until 0.
Yep.
And the intervals are I set it to every 1 second to update the time. But when I do that, the GUI only updates every 2 seconds. But when I put the interval update to a second and a millisecond, 1001, it updates correctly, if you see what I mean.
Okay. Sorry, was this on a widget or on inside the app itself?
It's inside the app itself. It's a timer that is built out of image views.
Okay. So you have image views that you're just trying to update the bitmaps on?
The GUI.
And you're finding that you have a loop and the image views aren't updating, they're taking more than a second to update?
Well, when I said, I tell it every second to update for the timer class, I tell it every second to fire an event that updates. And what it does, it updates. If I do it every second, the GUI only updates every 2 seconds. It like goes down, from 8 to 6 to 4 to 2. But if I do it at a second and a millisecond, just adding 1 millisecond, it updates only. It goes down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
That sounds very strange. You should be able to update it many, many times a second without any issues. Which timer are you using?
It's the timer class, the Android timer class.
Have you tried to debug into step through within an interval to see
Well,
if there isn't something else happening?
I cannot hear you. You're too far from the microphone. Sorry.
Sorry, have you tried? Can you hear me now?
A bit better, yeah.
Okay. Have you tried to step through what's happening in the debugger? Because maybe something else is being invoked.
I tried that, yeah, but I didn't see anything jumping up when it fires the event. It only does the normal, freeing of the memory every few times or so.
In it, and seeing whether, just debug print something out to the log on every timer interval to see if the same thing happens.
Okay, I'll try that and see.
Yeah, I suggest this should definitely work. So it implies there's something a little iffy with the code. You're definitely not running anything on the UI thread. You've got a background timer, and then it's coming back and trying to update the UI thread. It should be able to do it very, very quickly. So I don't think it's related to the timer class itself.
So it's related to the update thread, maybe? To the going back to the UI thread?
Sorry, I missed that. For some reason, the volume had gone down a bit. Could you just repeat that?
So I should check around what happens when it goes back to the UI thread and tries to update the UI?
Yeah, just put some debug logging in there and make sure that your events are firing when you think they're firing. And what happens when you're trying to update the UI, because the UI update shouldn't take any time at all.
Well, I think what happens is it like updates really fast. What happens is sometimes, when you tell it to update something over something, it just jumps a step and updates to the next step already. If you see what I mean, if you say to it to put an image view and then do some kind of and then put an image view over it, it will only show the second image view, if you see what I mean. If it's a too small delay.
Do you mean to say maybe the actual rendering of the image is taking up some time and it's going over into the next interval?
Yeah, I think that might be also happening on... That could be a possibility.
One thing you can try to simplify it all is use a level list drawable for your set of graphics. Have you tried level list drawables before?
No.
It's an XML definition which allows you to set a set of images which can be applied to a single image view, and then you just set the level. So say you were a battery, you could say if the level is 0 to 20, use this image, if there's 20 to 40, use this image, or if the time is kind of 1 minute, use this image, 2 minutes, use this image, and you just list them in the XML saying which resources you want to use for each state, and then all you do is call imageview.setLevel, and everything else happens automatically for you. It just uses the right graphic from the right resources folder without having to load bitmaps or put them into image views or recycle or do anything like that. So a level list might be particularly useful in this case.
Okay, can you point me out exactly so I can check the Android developer website, because I didn't see that, didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it'd be level list drawable or Android level list drawable, I guess. Let me just put it out for you.
Well, I think somebody beat you to that.
Yeah, Al, he's on the ball again.
It's quicker to search when you don't have to talk.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
And when your computer's not overheating on a Hangout. My poor little laptop.
Okay, found it, thank you.
Yeah, it's worth having a look at that. It may at least take any of the complicated steps out of your code where there may have been an error. It's worth trying. But what you're trying to do should work fine. I'm just having a look at Stephen Adams. He's looking for the best way to speed the startup and running of the emulator. So there's a few things. First of all, in the emulator settings, there's a little tick box which enables you to save the state of the emulator once it's closed. So the first time you run it still takes a while, but then from then on it loads up much more quickly. Secondly to that, we now have hardware accelerated emulators. At the moment, only for Android 2.3. Yeah, 4 or 2.3.6. I can't remember which one. Hi, Manish. Nice to have you on here. So check out the Intel hardware accelerated emulator, the HAX. That could definitely help. But we are still working on them. We've recently also added OpenGL acceleration into the emulator, so anything that is accelerated, hardware accelerated on the device can be hardware accelerated on your emulator. And fourth point being, we're aware that they are still slow. This is in the emulators.
And the other option, obviously, is to use a device.
There's also a little tip that's worth checking: the amount of RAM you set aside for the emulator to give the emulated device. Hitting that up to about 1 GB can speed things up. Anything around 256 meg can make the emulator a little slow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think if you develop an app, you should just put it straight to 1 giga RAM, because all devices already come with just 1 gig of RAM.
The only issue with that is there are a lot of people out there with older devices, so it's sometimes best to at least do some testing with a less amount of RAM, but when you're developing, as you say, running with 1 gig is probably the best option.
And of course, yeah, searching the internet. There's quite a few things you can do to get those emulators to run a little bit faster anyway. Hey Manish, you've just joined. Do you have any questions for us?
Sorry, just on the emulator thing.
Yeah.
Have you had a look at the documentation for the emulator? Because it's quite extensive. There's a whole bunch of command line parameters and stuff you can also use.
Okay.
I can post the link.
There you go, Stephen. Check out the command line parameters for the emulator as well. Yeah, Manish, do you have a question? You can type it if you don't want to talk in the window, or you can have a microphone. And I will have a look back at the moderator page and see what's coming up next.
Here, he's got a question.
Okay. Yeah, just type it in the window. Whilst you're typing that out, I'll answer another quick question from Bas in the Netherlands. As we were talking about at the start, Bas says the Drive API says apps will not have any API access to files unless the app has been installed in the Chrome Web Store. Are there ways to use Drive with apps on Android? Not to my knowledge right now, although I hear Al's trying to hack something together.
Unsuccessfully at the moment. I think it's best to hold off and wait for a public API, because everything I've seen would involve reusing the docs APIs which are currently available, and I'm pretty sure that any workaround using those would soon be terminated once a public API becomes available.
Sparky is just going to walk over to Austria and try and join from over there. So hopefully by the end of the hangout he can get on. Munich to Austria can't be that far, right? Maybe if he gets on a train. We should have planned that one in advance. Manish is just entering his text.
I don't see these questions on the moderator.
You've got to click on questions on the left-hand side.
So I'm finding a whole bunch of stuff.
The top one at the moment seems to be about showing prices with VAT in the Play Store. It's probably worth mentioning that's beyond the limits of what we're going to discuss in the office hours.
The top one on the moderator, or the top one?
The top question on the moderator says, are you planning to fix Google Play Store to show prices including VAT in the EU?
Huh.
No, those are the questions that I can see.
I can't see those questions at all. Interesting.
This is from a link that Al posted. I'm wondering if these are not for the Mountain View. But it does say EMEA at the top.
Are we looking at two different sets of moderators, Al?
We could be.
Yeah.
Mine is...
A question was...
It's posted in there.
I did that one.
Yeah.
No,
He's
different links.
looking at the Mountain View one.
Have I got the Mountain View one?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
answering questions for this afternoon already.
If you could post that link in the actual stream.
I'll do it in the comments.
Joining the Hangout. No,
I got it from developers.google.com/events.
which we're not really using.
That's where we post the moderation link.
Yeah.
Okay, manage. So I factory reset. Now my device does not boot. Oh, there's something further up. I updated my Samsung Galaxy Y with a custom ROM. Ice cream sandwich Aurora Final. After updating, I have ICS 406 on my device. That's an interesting build. After some time, I get process.android.a core error. So I applied factory reset. Now my device is not boot. Please, what should I do? You should talk to the people who make this ROM, which has a weird ICS version number that doesn't yet exist. I haven't heard of the Aurora ROM. Try reapplying a different ROM to your device. Can you get into the bootloader anymore? There's a whole load of little tricks. Can you get to the bootloader or fastboot?
Well, if it's Samsung, it's probably got the... You can try to get what is called the... Odin and... Yeah.
Obviously, the short answer is that we don't support these images.
Yes, we don't support custom ROMs, unfortunately.
I do get these questions in SSA all the time.
People using custom ROMs on their devices.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's a good thing to do.
Well, I've got a question about official ROM.
Uh-huh.
I am stuck on 4.0.2.
Interesting.
And
Which device are you on?
Galaxy Nexus.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask how long should I wait before I should be worried that the update isn't coming to me.
Did you buy the device through a carrier?
No, it's a Open GSM.
Where did you get it from? Just
It's from a shop in Israel. It's with the bid of a what is it called, the Google build that is on the websites and stuff like that.
That's good.
So
no, you shouldn't get worried. It'll come. There's obviously some approval process it's waiting to go through somewhere. I know that the Galaxy Nexus took quite a long time to get into Israel in the first place, so it may just be running behind.
well, it's not in Israel. It's not being sold. It's not allowed. It's forbidden.
But you bought it from a shop.
No, I bought it from a shop before it was forbidden.
Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't be worried about it though. It will come. It'll come.
There are some stock images which are available from developers.google.com, including a 404 for the Galaxy Nexus.
Yes.
I'll put the link in the side. You can use Fastboot to push that to your device. If it's not coming through to you, then it's really up to you how long you wait.
Well, but then that will wipe my user data.
More than likely, yep. It's a decision you've got to make.
Well, you know, here is a comment to pass to Google. They should, you know, in the recovery in the Nexus S, you were able to access any file from the recovery. Now it's only stuck on cache file, which is locked unless you root the device. So if it was possible to put it back so you can update, in the recovery you can go to any file, that would be able to do a manual update.
Not without rooting the device. That was a security hole, right? That you can get to any file without rooting it, just by putting it into recovery mode. It's much more secure that you can only get to the cache directory when it's in recovery mode, unless you have root access to the device.
Because it was a very useful thing, not to
I'm
get stuck
sure it
behind.
was. Yes, yeah, I appreciate that. But keeping backups of your data is obviously important. Either using ADB backup, now that you've got a Nexus device, you don't have any trouble, right? You just run ADB backup, you can back up the entire device, firmwares, application settings. I recently flashed my device and I didn't lose my progress on Cut the Rope or anything, so it was quite handy.
So I should do a ADB backup and then flash it and then put backup restore or something like that, ADB restore or something like that?
Yeah, I'd also say it's worth doing a couple of different backups. One of them with the shared files in and one without. Also one with the system partition and one without, just in case you have any issues. It's very nice just to have a separate backup of just your application data and a separate backup of your shared files, just in case anything does go wrong.
Okay, I will try that, thank you.
And if there's anything that you really care about in the shared files, movies, audio files, pictures, I would recommend copying those off over USB as well, just in case.
Have you also, another thing to do is check and see if there isn't anybody else in Israel who's in the same boat. Because maybe somebody else has already solved the problem.
I know a friend of mine that has a Nexus S actually got the update to 4.0.4.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, there could be other issues as to why he got hit. But do you know of anybody who had to do it manually?
No. A lot of people that I talked to got it officially through the OTA update.
Yes. That's normally how it goes.
How long ago was that?
My friend got it about like 2 weeks ago to the Nexus S.
Oh, to the Nexus S, fair enough. Yeah.
But you've got a Galaxy Nexus.
Yes, so I should be before him.
Not necessarily. Anyway, what I was saying, if I'm in this kind of boat, and I've had to do this with other weird things, I always try to see if somebody on the net hasn't had the same issue. Because often you find up little communities build up around this problem, especially if, as you say, the Galaxy Nexus was legal in Israel and then suddenly it was made illegal. There's probably other people who did who have exactly the same problem. So I will do a search also, just for sanity's sake.
Isn't the update based on IMEI? You know, the way you send the update, isn't it based on the IMEI number of the device?
I don't know, but still, I would, for my own sanity, check and see if somebody else has had the problem.
Okay, I'll check around some Israeli forums and see what's going on.
I mean, Israel's very tech savvy, so I'm sure people were grabbing Nexuses, Galaxy Nexuses, when they could get the money together immediately there. And I'm fairly sure there must be other people in this boat.
We'll check it out.
Okay.
Maybe you can check with your GTUG there or one of those community groups.
Well, I know that I talked to Amir. You probably know him.
Yes, we know him.
He's got a Galaxy Nexus and he's got the updated version, so he's not at the same boat as me.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, but he's an exception, and on top of that, it also depends on which phone it is. There are all kinds of variables.
Indeed. And yeah, Amir's Galaxy Nexus wasn't bought in Israel.
Yeah, for sure not.
So who knows? Who knows how that phone even got to Israel if it was illegal to sell it there? Manish is asking what to do again. I honestly, Manish, I don't know. We don't support custom ROMs on these devices. You need to try and flash a previous version or a different ROM to that device, or even reflashing the strange ROM that you managed to find and flash to it in the first place. I would recommend going to the XDA forums or wherever you found that ROM initially and trying to get support there. I've never seen a Samsung Galaxy Young.
Yeah.
There's not much I can advise on what to do with it.
Can Manish actually hear us? I'm not even convinced of that.
Fair enough.
I would suggest XDA maybe. You should check there.
Yeah.
Or try, what are these guys? cyanogen or somebody like that.
Yeah, they all hang out. XDA, the place to hang, right? Ilya says, what's the process for getting featured? We don't comment on that. But thank you for the question.
Is it worth mentioning about top developer status?
We don't really comment on that either. What did you have in mind?
Just saying that developers can apply for it, and it's quite a nice thing to have. And if developers have developed a lot of applications, the top developer badge on their name can often be as useful as being featured.
Fair enough.
Have you actually done that, Al?
I haven't, because I've not been doing development work for a bit. I've been on some other things. So, but I've known a few people who have, and they've benefited from it.
Yeah.
Users are definitely getting used to the idea of seeing the top developer label and associating it with quality applications.
Right. No, it's good to get that kind of feedback for us too, so that we know it's working.
Okay. Well, that's, as far as I can tell, all the questions out of the moderator. Thank you very much to Sparky for answering them already in line. Just checking there aren't any more. So let's go back to the thread and see if anything's appeared there. No? Okay. So it looks like we've managed to get through all the questions from this week's Hangout already. So unless anyone has anything they'd like to talk about on air, development issues or...
I thought maybe if I put a US SIM card, that might pass the check on Israel, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I know when I put I've got a T-Mobile US SIM card, and when I put it in, I can access to the US Android Play instead of the Israeli. Maybe that will solve my update issues. Could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's,
I doubt it, but...
Yeah, if it's on IMEI, the SIM card won't change your IMEI.
I wonder where this device has come from. It may be an American device, it may not be. I don't know quite where it's come from. If it was bought from a shop in Israel, where it's not for sale.
Well, it was bought in a shop in Israel, but it was shipped from Europe. We don't. They don't make a special devices just for Israel. We are too small for that.
Yeah. Have you seen the 403 or 404 link lying around anywhere?
Yeah, I've put it in the comments and put it across in the side.
He doesn't want to lose his data.
Yeah. I haven't seen an incremental update link, but if I come across one, I'll post it.
Fair enough. Hey Manuel, thanks for joining us as well. So, yeah, I saw your question before, Charles. Charles Harley, dimension resource file doesn't support defining float values with no unit of measurement. Is there an alternative approach that still has the benefits of using an XML resource file? Reusable and can override the value for different device configurations. The dimensions resource file doesn't support defining a float value with no unit of measurement. Well, the dimensions, yeah, are going to have a unit of measurement, or they wouldn't be valid dimensions. You could use a different file and then take the resource out of there, a strings file or something, or one of the other XML files. But as you say, I mean, yeah, the dimensions file doesn't support that. Let's have a look.
I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to achieve here, Charles.
No, me neither, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's difficult to find a workaround if we don't fully understand what you're trying to achieve, Charles.
However, try. See if this page loads and if it does, what comes up. So there are some posts on the internet that explain possible ways of doing it with a custom XML file. It's something I think I'd like to look into, maybe for the next Hangout, or maybe I'll post in the feedback later on.
Or Charles can just put it in the moderator, the questions for next time.
Yeah. If you could add it into the moderator for next week, as soon as we publish it, Charles, we'll try and answer it for you then. We've had a few more people join in. Like our video's frozen again.
Yeah.
Are we frozen now? Or is it working for you?
It's very slow.
You're looking distinctly frozen. Either that or you're very good at staying still. No. See Peter scratching his eye. Now you've gone.
Ah dear, I need a new computer. Must be about that time.
Oh, you'll get one at I/O, I'm sure.
That's the worst bit about being a Googler at I/O. The best bit is that you get a ticket. Well, actually, at least Deborah will do. The worst bit is you don't get any of the give-outs.
And you get to work.
And you work the whole time, yeah.
If you can call it working.
No, our video is totally frozen up. My Mac is on fire. Yeah, it's just running at 100% all the time. Huh. Well, unfortunately, my... Oh, how come you're moving and I'm not? Or is that you from a long time ago?
That's me going through some very weird motion. And you are still frowning over the question.
Wow.
It's giving you some processing cycles there, but something else is...
Something's eating my computer.
Yeah.
Oh. So does anyone else have any questions before we finish for today? Hopefully you can hear us even if you can't see us moving around. Thanks, Al. It's strange watching yourselves back in slow motion.
I think at this point we realized things weren't working anymore.
Well, I'm taking that as a no.
You gone completely black screen on us now, Rich?
I know, I've tried turning the video off just in case turning it on and off again gives my computer enough cycles to come back to life again. But no, it's still just playing the video slowly.
You might be blocked me.
Wow. Oh. Useless. Ah, I see, Charles. Yeah, I'll try and answer that question for you, Charles, either in the comments later on or in next week's Hangout. It's a good question. It looks like it may need a little bit more research, though, for a quality answer.
is not giving up.
No, Manish isn't giving up. That's okay. Our video is giving up, but Manish isn't giving up.
No.
Still not anywhere near back to real time. All right. I think I'm going to call it a day there then. If no one else has got any more questions, because this video thing's just getting ridiculous. Thanks all for coming on again. And we'll be back Wednesday, 2 p.m. Oh, Clemens, wait! One more question coming in at the last second. I still have a small question. Okay, we can wait for one more question. The auction is not finished.
I think just turn off the video on your, because maybe that'll loosen up some cycles. So I want to be just looking back.
Let's put Clemens' picture on the screen instead. Probably not regarding Android directly, but it's still, I mean, if it's not regarding Android directly, we probably can't answer. I'm in Austria and still have not released Google Drive. That's very strange. I thought it was a global launch this time. I certainly haven't seen the usual influx of when's it launching in my country questions.
It's not
What do you mean
enabled.
by
It's not enabled for everyone. It's taking some time to be enabled on some accounts, so it may just be a case of
I did
a
see
few
that.
days wait.
Sometimes you get an email saying that we'll email you once it has been enabled, but that's just a rollout.
Yeah.
I thought it had finished by now. All the people who yesterday said that they were getting the please wait screen have come back to me today saying it is now working for them.
It seems to take a day or two from application, but there's also the apps for business accounts, which it hasn't been enabled for yet.
I've also seen apps for business accounts that it's working on now for as well.
Oh, cool.
The MIPIN guys said they couldn't get access to it last night, but it's working this morning, so hopefully it is just in progress, the rollout. I guess that's the issue with doing a global rollout all at the same time.
Yeah.
At some point there's a rate limitation. But it should be with you very, very soon, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, if somebody's noticed there was a problem with Austria, I'm very sure they're fixing it right now.
Well, we've sent Sparky across for the next hangover, haven't we?
Hangover? Hangout. Sparky to Austria for a hangover.
Yeah.
One more question. How can I get a job working as a developer at Google? Go to google.com/jobs. Is it careers or jobs?
Jobs.
They've
got a new site as well, so
streamlined them. Yeah, that's right. I actually posted those links on G+ a couple of weeks ago.
Huh.
Of course, the first answer should have been to Google it.
Yes, you should search for it on Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a look through that. You apply for a job. You can tell us you're applying for one as well, if you like. And hopefully you get through to the interview process, which then is quite long and drawn out.
Yeah.
And at some point you may end up working for Google. There's lots and lots and lots of information on helping you get through the Google interview process. Google publish most of it themselves. The kind of questions to be prepared for, the kind of research you should do before sending your CV, and the kind of CVs they're looking for, things definitely not to put on your CV. When you send it through, there's guidelines on all of it on google.com/jobs and blog posts and other things surrounding that. It's definitely worth looking through it all before you apply though. When I create a button, Manish has got an Android development question. When I create a button and apply styles on it, for transparency, shape and gradient, it works fine. Fantastic. And with that, we'll end the... Yeah.
There's a vote of confidence.
There it is. Al has posted the hiring process link in the comments to this Hangout as well.
I think we're going to have to create a FAQ for these office hours. Frequently asked questions, things like that in there.
But when I put an image in Drawable, when I create a button and apply a style on it, it works fine. But when I put an image in Drawable, its transparency is lost. Boom. Hash boom. Okay. How can I fix it? There's a whole lot of things. First of all, of course, I assume you're saving your image as a PNG 32.
I don't think you can hear us.
Let's just type a few things in. Is the image saved as PNG 32? If it is, that's just most reliable. You can do other formats as well.
Yeah.
It can also depend on which version of Android you're building against. As soon as you start building against Ice Cream Sandwich, hardware acceleration is going to be turned on, and that can definitely affect transparencies. So, if building against ICS, try disable. Yeah, cheers, I know. We started a minute late. Try disabling hardware acceleration for, I wish I could spell. There's lots of guides to this kind of thing on the internet. Yeah, it should work fine. Okay. We have got our video still turned off, isn't it? I wonder if it's come back yet.
Oh.
Hey. I only know because my machine's fan has slowed down. It's good.
Yeah,
I can't hear it anymore.
The break from the video probably got me going.
Yeah. Clemens is typing one last thing. Manish says okay, that's great. Okay. Before one more thing appears in the chat. We're going to call it a day there. Oh, I know some picture editing software which saves the transparency in black and white. Maybe that's a problem with configuration. Thank you, Clemens, for helping to answer Manish's question. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. As I said, we'll be back at 2 p.m. next Wednesday as usual. And have a good week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Too.
Thanks, Al.
Yes, thanks.